Have you ever wondered what happens when you click on a website? How does a message travel from your computer to your friend's computer on the other side of the world? Why can you watch videos, send emails, and play games online all at the same time? Today, we're going on an exciting journey to discover how the internet really works. Think about this. Every day, billions of people around the world use the internet. We send photos to friends, watch movies, listen to music, and learn new things. But have you ever asked yourself, how is this possible? The answer is both simple and amazing at the same time. The internet is like a giant invisible highway that connects computers all around the world. Imagine if every house in your city had a special road that connected it to every other house. That's what the internet does for computers. It creates a huge network where any computer can talk to any other computer. But wait, what exactly is a network? Let's start with something simple. When you want to talk to your friend who lives next door, you might shout from your window, use a phone, or walk over to their house. Computers need to talk to each other too, but they do it in a different way. Let's imagine you have two computers in your room. How can they share information? The simplest way is to connect them with a cable, like an Ethernet cable. This cable is like a bridge between the two computers. When one computer wants to send a message to the other, it sends electrical signals through this cable. Think of it like two people talking through a long tube. When you speak into one end, your voice travels through the tube and comes out the other end. Computers work in a similar way, but instead of voices, they send information as electrical signals. But what if you don't want to use cables? That's where wireless connections come in. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are like invisible cables that use radio waves to carry information through the air. It's like having a magical connection that you can't see, but that works perfectly. Now, here's where things get interesting. What if you have three computers? Or five? Or 10? If you wanted to connect 10 computers directly to each other, you would need 45 cables. That's because each computer would need a cable to connect to every other computer. Can you imagine the mess of cables that would create? This is where something very clever happens. Instead of connecting every computer to every other computer, we use a special device called a network switch. Think of a switch like a smart traffic controller at a busy intersection. When a computer wants to send a message to another computer, it sends the message to the switch first. The switch then looks at the message and says, "This message is for computer B," and forwards it to the right computer. It's like having a really good postal worker who always knows exactly which house to deliver each letter to. The switch makes sure that each message goes to the right place and nowhere else. This way, with 10 computers, you only need 10 cables, one from each computer to the switch. But now you might be thinking, what about connecting hundreds of computers, or thousands, or millions? One switch can't handle that many computers. Here's where the story gets even more exciting. Remember how we said that a switch is actually a computer too? Well, if switches are computers, then we can connect switches to other switches. It's like building a network of networks. Imagine you have several schools in your city, and each school has its own internal communication system. Now, if you want the schools to talk to each other, you create connections between the schools. However, as networks get bigger and bigger, problems start to appear. The more switches a message has to travel through, the longer it takes to reach its destination. It's like trying to pass a message through a long line of people. By the time it reaches the end, it might take a very long time. To solve this problem, engineers created something called a router. A router is like a very smart postal office that knows the best way to send packages to their destinations. When a message arrives at a router, it reads the address on the message and decides the fastest way to send it to where it needs to go. Think of it this way. If you want to send a letter from New York to Tokyo, the Postal Service doesn't send it through every city between New York and Tokyo. Instead, They choose the fastest route, maybe through a few major cities that have good connections to Tokyo. Routers work the same way for computer messages. But here's something amazing. The internet uses infrastructure that already existed before computers were popular. Do you know what that is? The telephone system. Back in the day, people had already built telephone lines all over the world to connect cities and countries. The internet uses these same telephone lines to carry computer messages. To connect a computer network to the telephone system, we need a special device called a modem. A modem is like a translator. It takes the computer language that your network speaks and translates it into telephone language that can travel through phone lines. Then, when the message reaches its destination, another modem translates it back into computer language. You might have a router at home that connects your family's computers to the internet. This router is actually three devices in one: a switch, a router, and a modem. Now, let's talk about something called an Internet Service Provider, or ISP. An ISP is like a company that owns a big piece of the internet highway. When you want to connect your home to the internet, you pay an ISP to let you use their part of the highway. Popular ISPs include companies like Verizon, AT&T, and Comcast in the United States, or similar companies in other countries. Your ISP has special routers that are connected to other ISPs' routers. It's like a system of highways where different highway companies work together to make sure you can drive from anywhere to anywhere else. When you send a message over the internet, it might travel through several different ISPs networks before reaching its destination. The internet is basically this huge system of networks all connected together. It's like a web of highways, roads, and bridges that allows information to travel from any computer to any other computer in the world. But how does your computer know where to send a message? Every computer connected to the internet has a special address called an IP address. IP stands for Internet Protocol, and it's like a home address for computers. An IP address looks like this: 192.0.2.172. It's made of four numbers separated by dots. Just like your home has an address, so the mail carrier knows where to deliver your letters, every computer needs an address, so other computers know where to send messages. When you want to visit a website, your computer looks up the IP address of that website and send a request to that address. But remembering numbers like 192.0.2.172 is very difficult for humans. Can you imagine trying to remember the IP addresses of all your favorite websites? That would be impossible. This is why we have something called domain names. A domain name is like a nickname for an IP address. Instead of remembering 142.250.190.78, you could just remember it's much easier, right? When you type into your browser, your computer asks a special service to look up the IP address that matches that domain name. It's like having a phone book that tells you someone's phone number when you know their name. Now, here's an important question. Are the internet and the World Wide Web the same thing? Many people think they are, but they're actually different. The internet is the infrastructure. It's like the highway system. The World Wide Web is just one service that uses the internet. It's like the cars and trucks that drive on the highways. The internet can carry many different types of information. When you browse websites, you're using the World Wide Web. When you send emails, you're using email services. When you chat with friends online, you're using messaging services. All of these services use the internet as their highway, but there are different types of traffic on that highway. Think of it like a city's transportation system. The roads are like the internet. They're the infrastructure that allows transportation to happen. But cars, buses, bicycles, and motorcycles are like different services that use those roads. The roads make all types of transportation possible, but the roads themselves aren't the vehicles. There are also special types of networks called intranets and extranets. An intranet is like a private internet that only people in a specific organization can use. For example, a company might have an intranet where employees can share files, communicate with each other, and access company information. It's like having a private highway that only company employees can use. An extranet is similar to an intranet, but it allows some outside people to access it too. For example, a company might let its customers access certain parts of its network to check their orders or download important documents. It's like having a private highway that also allows trusted visitors to use certain lanes. Both intranets and extranets work using the same technology as the internet. They use the same types of cables, routers, and protocols. The main difference is who is allowed to access them. Let's think about what happens when you click on a website. First, your computer takes the domain name and asks a special service called DNS to tell it the IP address for that website. DNS is like a giant phone book for the internet. Once your computer knows the IP address, it creates a message asking for the website's information. This message gets sent to your router, which forwards it to your ISP. Your ISP's routers then figure out the best path to send the message to the website server. The message might travel through several different networks and routers before it reaches the website server. The server then creates a response message containing the website's information and sends it back to your computer using the same process in reverse. All of this happens in just a few seconds. It's amazing when you think about it. Your simple click starts a journey that might involve dozens of routers and travel thousands of miles, but it happens so fast that you barely notice. The internet has grown incredibly since it started in the 1960s as a research project funded by the US military. Back then, it was called ARPANET, and it only connected a few universities and research institutions. The goal was to create a communication system that would keep working even if some parts of it were damaged. Over the years, more and more organizations joined the network. Universities, companies, and government agencies all started connecting their computers to this growing network. In the 1990s, the internet became available to regular people, and that's when it really started to grow fast. Today, the internet connects billions of devices all around the world. It's not just computers anymore. Smartphones, tablets, smart TVs, gaming consoles, and even refrigerators and cars can connect to the internet. This network of connected devices is sometimes called the Internet of Things. The internet has changed how we live, work, and communicate. We can instantly share information with people on the other side of the world. We can learn about any topic we're interested in. We can watch movies, listen to music, play games, and shop for almost anything we want. But the internet isn't just about entertainment and shopping. It's also used for important things like medical research, education, business, and emergency communications. During natural disasters, the internet often provides the only way for people to communicate with the outside world. One of the most amazing things about the internet is that no one person or organization controls it. It's a collaborative effort involving thousands of companies, governments, and organizations around the world. They all work together to keep the internet running smoothly. However, this also means that the internet faces many challenges. Cybersecurity is a big concern because criminals try to use the internet to steal information or money. Privacy is another issue because companies and governments can track what people do online. There are also concerns about making sure everyone has access to the internet, regardless of where they live or how much money they have. The internet continues to evolve and improve. Engineers are constantly working on ways to make it faster, more secure, and more reliable. New technologies like 5G wireless networks and fiber optic cables are making internet connections faster than ever before. In the future, the internet will probably become even more important in our daily lives. We might have smart cities where traffic lights, street lights, and public transportation all communicate through the internet. We might have virtual reality experiences that make us feel like we're in completely different worlds. We might even have internet connections in space as humans explore other planets. Understanding how the internet works helps us appreciate this amazing technology that we use every day. It's a complex system, but it's built on simple principles. Computers talking to other computers, messages finding the best path to their destinations, and people working together to keep everything running smoothly. The next time you send a message, watch a video, or browse a website, remember the incredible journey that your data takes. From your device to your router, through your ISP's network, across multiple routers and networks, and finally to its destination, all in the blink of an eye. The internet truly is one of humanity's greatest achievements, connecting us all in ways that were impossible just a few decades ago. So the internet is much more than just a tool for browsing websites or sending emails. It's a global infrastructure that enables communication, commerce, education, entertainment, and innovation on a scale never seen before in human history. It's a testament to human creativity and cooperation, showing what we can achieve when we work together toward a common goal. The story of how the internet works is really the story of human ingenuity and our desire to connect with each other. From simple cables connecting two computers to a global network spanning the entire planet, the internet represents our endless curiosity and our determination to share knowledge and experiences with one another, no matter how far apart we may be.